Alright everyone, first of all, I do want to at least apologize in regards to my last review, because I was not expecting it to be like a 40-something review, but at the same time, it was very controversial heavy at the time, and there was a lot to take in with that episode, so if you found it to be long and tedious, I'm sorry, there was just a lot to unpack there in regards of the last episode. But we are currently in October, so we are going to be taking a look at our Christmas episode in the month of Halloween. This is kind of strange to say the least. I mean, this would be Christmas in July, except it's not July, it's October. So, let's just get into a Hearth's warming tale. Well, if this thing can load. Unfortunately, I do have to fast forward through this opening a bit, because basically it's an opening of basically everybody getting ready for Hearth's Warming Eve, and the joy of the holidays of everybody singing. Now, obviously, because I say singing, this episode is going to be a lot like Pinkie Pride and the Mysterious Magical Mystery Cure, where basically the songs carry the story. And the opening song is relatively good. If I would let you listen to it, if not for Hasbro's copyright, because again, last time I had copyright problems with Raiders of the Lost Mark, but even though I was able to get that resolved, it took about like a whole month for the whole thing to just like get glossed out, passed forward through, just so I can avoid that problem again. I have to fast forward through the songs, regrettably. Though thankfully, I did take a look at iTunes, and the music is on iTunes. So, opening song is really good. It basically gives the hearts and wonderful joys of Hearth's Warming Eve, or in our case, Christmas, and it leads to Twilight and Spike trying to wish Starlight a merry, Hearth's Warming Eve, but kind of makes you wonder, how exactly would you skip a holiday? But because by that notion, it seems Starlight doesn't really care much about Hearth's Warming Eve.
I just find it all a little silly.
Basically, the pony equivalent of Christmas is silly. I mean, everybody has their own perspectives. Because there are those people who basically still have their Christmas decorations up, even though it's the middle of January. And I even went to the Christmas tree store not too long ago to get some stuff for myself, and I've seen Christmas decorations up already. And this was probably September. I don't remember when I think it was like a few weeks ago, like the 21st. September 21st, and there was already Christmas decorations up. It's like, at least wait until Halloween's over. And what about Thanksgiving?
It's mostly a day dedicated to presents and candy, isn't it? And why would you deny yourself presents and candy? That's crazy talk.
I agree with Spike. It's literally one of the best things ever, though there's a lot more to it than that.
I think what Spike means to say is, Hearth's Warming is about more than presents and candy. It's a time to spend with friends and family when we celebrate a very important day in equestrian history.
I wouldn't really be sure about that first one. I think it's just more family than, honestly, friends, if we're being honest here. Because everybody goes home for the holidays to be with their families.
I think to most ponies, it's just an excuse for silly songs and fun.
Okay, maybe with the exception of Justin Bieber's version of Little Drummer Boy, I wouldn't say that all the Christmas songs are silly.
A day to remember one old story. Maybe you just haven't heard the right Hearth's Warming Eve story yet. Earth ponies, Pegasi, and unicorns sing songs around the hearth to fight back an eternal winter caused by the mythical Wendigos. Every soul in Philly knows that story. Not that one.
I was just gonna say, it kind of makes you wonder how Starlight knew that story, but then again, I'm sure that she heard it when she was younger. Then again, I guess being a dictator of a whole village has really soured her notions of the holidays. So basically, Twilight decides to tell Starlight a different story. basically MLP's version of A Christmas Carol, basically. So, and obviously A Christmas Carol is basically a story that's been done to death so many times. I mean, I've seen at least 2 other adaptations of it. Basically, Disney's adaptation with Scrooge McDuck as basically, you know, an actual Scrooge. And I've seen Muppet Christmas Carol as well. So, oh wait, and there was also the Looney Tunes version of it where Daffy Duck was Scrooge. So there's like 3 versions that I can go off of where I basically know what's going to happen. But it's basically the presentation that basically like...
Every home except one. It was said of Snowfall that she was almost as studied as Star Swirl the Bearded. Almost. Since every pony knows that Star Swirl was an expert in everything from transfiguration, dimensional calibration,
Oh wait, but we first have to get off track here just for Twilight to gush over Star Swirl for a moment.
or basically, you get it. Star Swirl's awesome. The point is, Snowball was also a powerful unicorn. She wanted to be perfect. Anything that got in the way of that was a waste of time.
Yeah, and obviously because this is obviously a story, we have to have the main 6 and Starlight be said characters in the story. And I really also like the fact where they actually make Snowfall look like Starlight's Season 5 design with her villain-style hair instead of the current hair that we get for Season 6 onward.
Well, that basket's ruined. No dash! No dash was Snowfall's loyal assistant. What do you need? Get this mess cleaned up. Those foolish ponies were ringing those blasted bells outside the window, and I lost my concentration. Are ponies actually enjoying Hearth's warming Eve? Where did they get that crazy idea?
I like this cynical Rainbow Dash.
Today is nothing to celebrate. Hearth's warming Eve is a menace. A dangerous day for all of Equestria. Dangerous?
Yeah, I think Valentine's Day is more dangerous than Christmas.
It's awesome! It's the day we remember how unicorns, Pegasus, and Earth ponies came together in friendship to defeat the Wendigo! That silly legend is the problem. Telling every pony to sing songs and be nice will solve anything. I've spent years studying magic, and that's not how it works.
So basically, it's sort of a philosophy of magic versus legends and such.
I think you might be missing the point. Work hard, learn, and use your skills to better Equestria. That's the worthy goal for any pony.
Or like a worthy goal of the Adrestian Empire. And yes, I've been playing Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I've only beaten the Golden Deer, in case you're wondering. But yeah, I think that this is sort of the philosophy of the Adrestian Empire when you think about it.
But by all means, if you want to go home early, ignore all of the work you have and spend the rest.
I think any employer would say that if their boss is being kind of a dick on the holidays. I also really wanted to start our life to say, what's so merry about it?
I hate heartwarming Eve. All of Equestria would be better off if we just skipped the day altogether.
I think that's what a lot of people say about every holiday, because there are some people that really don't like Christmas, and most people don't like Valentine's Day. I don't know that many people who don't like St. Patrick's Day. Same thing with Easter. But what about Thanksgiving? Nobody gives a shit about Thanksgiving. So let's skip that holiday. I mean, then again, it is a holiday of times. So basically, we get another song where basically Snowfall, or you know what, I don't even know the characters' names, but basically I'm just gonna refer to them of who they're being played by. So anyways, Story Starlight basically sings a song of basically concocting a plan of basically destroying the holidays. So this is pretty much also part of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but it would probably be How the Grinch Destroyed Christmas. That's it.
Hearthwarming Eve, so she decides to cast a spell to get rid of it altogether? That seems a little extreme. Says the pony who tries to make every pony the same by replacing their chimney marks with equal signs.
I was just gonna bring that up, considering that this is the interpretation that Starlight is thinking.
I think what Spike is trying to say is that every pony has their reasons for doing things.
I think that we may want to keep that line in mind, because this is basically a line that I think everybody should know. Even in sorts of media, whether it's like TV, movies, or video games, even if some of the characters in certain shows or games are giant pieces of shit, regardless whether you agree with it or not, everybody does have their reasons. Even if the way they go about it are methods that you really don't agree with.
Even Snowfall. And if I could continue the story, we might just find out what they are. Proceed.
So, if you are familiar with A Christmas Carol like myself, then you should know that basically we know the drill. That basically the Scrooge of the story starts to get haunted and is being told to be confronted by 3 ghosts. Starting with the ghost of Christmas Past, or...
Now some terrible horse notices. You've got our attention, Snowfall Frost. And we've got some pretty strong opinions on this spell of yours. They'll be along with a bit.
So yeah, so basically if you're wondering, that's Applejack who's basically playing...
The spirit of Hearthwarming Past, that's...
Yeah, so again, basically the ghost of Christmas Past. I'm honestly just thinking about the Angry Video Game Nerds Christmas Carol at this point. Like, I'm honestly surprised that Snowfall hasn't tried to flip her off and be like, see this? I do see it. But you're not looking at it. But I see it. So basically, as I said, we get another song where basically Ghost Applejack drags Starlight to, well, the past, and shows that she basically had a childhood of where she actually enjoyed Christmas, but gets the philosophy from a certain...
See what you're doing, Snowball?
Decorating the classroom for Hearthwarming Eve, Professor Sweetheart.
You said you want to learn to be a powerful unicorn, do you not?
I do.
And what is the way that one becomes a powerful unicorn?
Work hard, learn, and use your skills to better a question out.
So that's basically where she got that philosophy from.
And how do these help you to learn magic?
Because kids can't learn magic overnight. They basically need breaks and taking time to enjoy certain holidays and not basically being in an assembly line to study all day. And everybody has made the comparison that this pony in the story is considerably similar to Professor Snape from Harry Potter. And given the similarities, I can see why.
I want to be strong enough to stop Wendigos and help ponies.
That's just a story we tell students. Real magic takes time to learn.
I'm surprised that he wasn't the Scrooge and he wasn't the villain, so I'm also surprised that he's not her father in this story. I wish we could have just gone to the TV and just throw flaming punches at him to tell her to back off.
It's your choice. Spend your time learning to become a powerful unicorn, or play with your toys and make nothing of yourself.
Again, it's like you could just take that picture of him, putting on a dartboard, and just throw flaming punches at him. See, it's like if you just... Okay, dead horse. But basically, because of that douchebag, Snowfall basically becomes the pony that basically happens in the story now. So again, all the problems of the story is caused by one douchebag who's not a fan of the holidays. I would say we could try to track him down, but since this was a story from long ago, I'm sure he's probably dead by now. Yes. So, if you know the story of a basically... So, yeah. So, again, if you're familiar with the story, Snowfall is then confronted by the ghost of heartwarming presence. And as Snowfall said, not present like the actual time like the other stories and adaptations, but actual present. So I do gotta give Hasbro this. They actually did put a nice little spin on that. And because obviously it's presence, and from what you heard, you basically get Pinkie Pie playing the ghost of heartwarming presence.
Presents. All the pointless things that people waste their time on. Oh, Snowball. It's not what you give to kids that matters. It's what the gift means. It doesn't mean anything. It's just stuff.
Yeah. Stuff. Alright.
Sometimes touching me, I love you. Or twins, how you doing? Sometimes looking at your name was amazing. Sometimes starting, well, that's usually me do a call. That one's easy. I don't understand anything you're saying.
I mean, I guess going by that logic, that kind of makes sense. But at the same time, that also means that if I got a nail clipper for Christmas, that would also mean hi. Or a pair of scissors, basically saying, how are you? Or even the storage drive is whatever. So I guess going by that logic, it kind of makes sense. Well, that's a mouthful for this story's version of the Pinkie Sense, which, actually, surprisingly, we actually haven't seen in a while. I'm trying to remember when the last time when the Pinkie Sense was used. Oops. I don't think I even remember it being... I'm not sure if it was brought up in either Season 4. I definitely don't remember it being mentioned in Season 5, so... Honestly, I think the last time the Pinkie Sense was mentioned was probably in It's About Time, all the way back in Season 2. So, I'm surprised. I mean, unless if there was an episode that the Pinkie Sense was there and I just didn't remember. But it certainly has been a while. So, given that we get to another song, we're basically currently of the present, basically tries to give, well, show the present. And as basically we get to the point where Snowfall is at the party. I mean, the song is nice and everything. Again, I wish I can let you guys listen to it, but copyright and such.
What? You know you're doing your Pinkie Pie voice, right? You not.
Yeah, you were. Your blushing face is adorable.
What happens next? Well, party was like, can we take a quick break? I need to refill my cup. Fine.
Way to kill the mood, Spike. Because we're about to get to pretty much the best part. So basically, Rarity and Fluttershy play these other two characters. I'm sure they probably have names, but I don't really remember them from being in the story. Basically talking to Rainbow Dash. Oh, Flutter Holly.
Just mad at Zombie who was complaining about how awful heartwarming Eve is. I don't suppose that's Holly's name, Crowdson. No. In any good spot. She said heartwarming Eve is just an excuse to party, and we would all be better off spending time working to make Equestria a better place.
Oh, with Snowfrost, one. Also, second, remember, all of this would have been avoided if that one douchebag teacher wasn't basically being so cynical about it and actually could have learned something like that. So really, if there's anyone to blame here, it would be that guy.
What does Snowfall think a better Equestria looks like? Ponies working hard, learning, and using their abilities for the benefit of Equestria.
Again, because of one douchebag teacher.
It looks like we've got everything on Snowfall's list right here. I think a perfect Equestria looks like a lot of the heartful news for me. Me too! Too bad it's going to be the last one ever!
I like what they did there. And of course, obviously, because this is of a Christmas story, we basically come across the ghost of Hearth's warning future, the ghost of Christmas future, whatever, who is actually Luna. So this is where, obviously, it's a kid's show, they're gonna have to take a bit of a deviation, because if you're familiar with the stories, or really any version of A Christmas Carol you've seen, whether if it's a movie, TV, or hell, even on an online show of an angry nerd, if you know the original, if you know the other adaptation, basically it's the point of the story where the ghost of Christmas future shows Scrooge basically his grave, and that nobody cared about him, and that he ends up dying if he doesn't start liking Christmas. But in this version, Luna Ghost basically shows that she basically destroys the world, basically leaving nothing but an eternal wasteland of snow. All because of the spell she casts. So yeah, basically the spell causes about the end of the world, and the Wendigos basically take over it. I mean, obviously it's a kid's show, they have to take some adaptation, so I guess there is a fate worse than death. Basically casting a spell that causes the end of the world, and you basically have to live with it, and have to be alone for the rest of your life. So yeah, that's decent. That's a decent enough change. So because of this, Snowfall realizes it's still Christmas, there's time to change. And because of that, she goes to the party and has a change of heart.
Singing and presents. Singing and presents are all about celebrating the ponies in our lives. The ponies we should listen to more often. Our friends. Dragon tail. Thanks. I was in a hurry. I'll do better next time. You kidding? No one's ever given me dragon toenail before. It's awesome!
Kind of makes you wonder what dragon toenail tastes like. So yeah, so basically if you're familiar with A Christmas Carol, then you already know.
Guess you can call it a night.
And because of this story, Starlight actually has a change of heart and goes down to enjoy the holidays with the others. And the episode ends with a reprise of the opening song of the episode. So that everybody enjoys the holidays, sing together, and that's the end. And that was So that was a heartwarming tale, and honestly, there really isn't too much to say. It's pretty good. Honestly, see, I really do enjoy the episode. I mean, since it is a version of A Christmas Tale, and obviously if you've seen the different versions of it, like Disney, the Muppets, or Looney Tunes, you can pretty much get a basis of what the story is going to be. So there's nothing really new in terms of the story department, but everything else is honestly really good. The songs are definitely enjoyable if you're allowed to listen to them. The animation is definitely stunning in terms of Christmas time animation, so it's definitely a lot. The presentation's definitely up there, and I really definitely like the changes that they had to make. Obviously, as I said, in terms of like the third act of the story, obviously there had to be some changes. So, honestly, I think this is just another version that I really enjoy. This is just another version of A Christmas Tale that I just really thoroughly enjoy. So, again, if you are familiar with A Christmas Tale, then there really isn't nothing new in terms of story, but everything else is honestly, like, up there. I think, honestly, this is probably one of the best Christmas episodes. And probably one of the best episodes of Season 6. That being said, I still think that my favorite Christmas episode of a show would probably have to be 11 Loud Leaping from the Loud House. But this is still a good episode on its own. So, overall, it's a pretty good episode. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and there's really isn't too many negatives I can really think of. So I think A Hearthwarming Tale gets an A. I think the only thing that holds it back from it being an A+ is that if you're familiar with, again, if you're familiar with A Christmas Tale, then there really isn't anything new in terms of, but there is enough deviations to make it stand out from the others. So, as I said, A Hearthwarming Tale is an A. Alright, so hopefully I now passed the time a bit because I was bored out of my mind earlier, hopefully getting something to do. Plus, I got midterms coming up and other stuff that I need to take care of. So with all that done, next time I will see you guys in the Saddle Row Review. See you guys next time.